Good evening and welcome to TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. My name is Emma Doe. In today's news, a young Vietnamese girl sets herself on fire as part of a social media dare. 2 Sydney boys charged with a terrorism plot. And defying Beijing, new Hong Kong MPs stand for democracy. To today's top stories in Vietnam. A teenager has set herself on fire after attempting to burn down her school as part of a social media fad known locally as Vietnamese say, Vietnamese do. In the online viral video, the 13-year-old can be seen pouring petrol in front of a door at her school in the southern province of Khanh Hoa. According to local media reports, she accidentally sets herself on fire after lighting a match. The unnamed girl is said to have suffered minor burns to her legs. In a Facebook post, the girl promised to set the school on fire if she received 1,000 likes on the social media platform. Samsung's recall of the hazardous Galaxy Note 7 might soon dent the Vietnamese economy. Nguyen Mai, chairman of Vietnam's Association of Foreign Invested Enterprises, told Reuters that Samsung's decision to halt production of the device could reduce Vietnam's exports by an estimated 0.5 to 1% this year. According to Vietnamese customs data, about 20% of the country's total exports are made up of phones. The South Korean company has manufacturing plants in both Bắc Ninh and Thái Nguyên province, with an estimated workforce of about 110,000 people, according to Samsung Electronics. In an official statement, Samsung Vietnam said it would not cut any current staff members or change its export targets. The United States and the European Union have called for a jailed Vietnamese activist to be released. Activist and blogger Nguyễn Ngọc Như Quỳnh, better known as Mẹ Nấm or Mother Mushroom, was taken into custody on Monday for allegedly publishing anti-state reports. The US ambassador to Vietnam said the trend of imprisoning bloggers in the country threatened to overshadow Vietnam's progress on human rights. He called on Vietnam to let individuals express their political views. Nguyen could face a prison term of up to 12 years for her critical Facebook posts, which detail civilian deaths in police custody among other matter deemed to defame the ruling Communist Party. In a statement on Tuesday, the EU ambassador in Vietnam also called for Nguyen to be freed. In world news, a peace deal for Syria is back on the cards as Russia and the United States agree to resume talks this Saturday. The announcement comes amid airstrikes on Aleppo's biggest market, which killed at least 15 people on Wednesday. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will meet US Secretary of State John Kerry in Switzerland to work on a solution. Diplomatic negotiations between the two halted earlier this month when a ceasefire agreement for Syria fell apart. 3 newly elected Hong Kong MPs have been barred from the legislature after making a contentious stand for Hong Kong's independence. During a swearing-in ceremony, 2 new pro-democracy MPs held up a banner that read "Hong Kong is not China" and pledged allegiance to Hong Kong nation. The 3rd MP made a statement in support of universal suffrage in his oath. The oaths of all 3 MPs were not accepted by the Legislative Council, which requires MPs to read the exact wording of the parliamentary oath. Hong Kong falls under China's one country, two systems policy, giving the region a higher level of autonomy, but Hong Kong's leader is still chosen by a Beijing-backed committee. In 2014, a number of pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong gained traction, and some of the movement's leaders are now MPs. Japan's chief cabinet secretary has spoken out against China's gas exploration in the East China Sea. Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga told journalists at a press conference in Tokyo that he was disappointed to see China continue gas exploration in the area when a maritime border had not yet been agreed on. Historically tense ties between China and Japan have also flared due to claims over a cluster of uninhabited islands in the East China Sea. Thailand's King is still in an unstable condition and is now using a ventilator, according to the latest palace announcements. The palace said the 88-year-old king was suffering from low blood pressure and abnormal liver function. He has not been seen in public since January this year due to his health problems. The Thai king is the world's longest-serving monarch and is highly revered among the Thai people. According to the World Bank's latest report, climate change threatens to throw cities into poverty in the next 15 years. The report states that fast-growing cities were the least equipped to deal with the effects of climate change-related disasters. It urged governments to invest in projects that protect cities from threats such as rising sea levels. The report states that unless action is taken soon, the world could be supporting an extra 77 million people on the poverty line by 2030. Muslim Salika militia have attacked and killed at least 23 refugees in the north of the Central African Republic. The militia fighters stabbed and hacked people in the town of Kaga Bandoro who tried to fight back. United Nations peacekeepers eventually drove the attackers out, killing 10 militia fighters. A UN official said the peacekeepers had to open fire in order to protect the civilian population. Hundreds of villagers fled towards the UN base nearby. Back to news in Australia. The two 16-year-old boys in Sydney arrested yesterday on terrorism charges have been refused bail. In a media conference today, New South Wales police said the boys were conspiring to carry out an Islamic State-inspired attack. They were arrested yesterday behind a Muslim prayer hall in Bankstown and found in possession of bayonet-style knives, as well as religious notes that allegedly pledge allegiance to Islamic State. The pair are due to return to court in December. Australia and Singapore have signed an updated free trade deal. Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, who's in Canberra on a 3-day visit to strengthen ties with Australia, signed the deal, which includes new agreements such as military training, trade business services and scientific research. But the showpiece of the agreement was a $2.25 billion program, which will result in more than 14,000 Singaporean troops taking up residence at training bases in North Queensland. Singapore is Australia's 5th largest trading partner and a key military ally. That's all from TiVi Tuan-san News at 6. I'm Emma Doe and thank you for your company.